First of all, I would like to present to you a few points from the chairmanship's perspective. Yesterday, the OSCE Chairperson-in-Office and Swiss Minister for Affairs Didier Burkhalter had a telephone conversation with the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. They discussed the creation of an international contact group on Ukraine and potential modalities for its establishment. They also exchanged views on the deployment of an OSCE monitoring mission to Ukraine. As you are well aware, the chairmanship has continued its efforts aimed at the establishment of such a large-scale monitoring mission. Yesterday's PrepCom has revealed that there is broad support for the current draft decision, but that consensus has not yet been reached. The debate is currently ongoing, and I encourage all participating states to take part in the discussion in a constructive and pragmatic manner. We will, of course, inform you when and where the next discussions will take place. And I would like to use this opportunity to thank you in advance for your flexibility and readiness to contribute to the discussions. The chairmanship remains convinced that we need to continue our common efforts toward the swift deployment of this monitoring mission, and that we also have to ensure that we will have access to the entire territory of Ukraine. Let me now turn to our three distinguished guests who have all been to the Crimea in the recent past. Ambassador Tim Guldimann, High Commissioner Astrid Thors. They did their visit together, whereas the representative on the freedom of media, Dunja Mijatovic, absolved her meetings with her interlocutors independently. First, I would like to pass the floor to Ambassador Guldimann, who will present to us his outlook for the current situation as well as his future plans. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Last week on Wednesday, together with the High Commissioner on National Minorities, Astrid Thors, we were in Crimea. Let me first of all thank Astrid Thors for an excellent cooperation, which we will continue. I think it is important on the one side that different parts of the OSCE, in full mutual respect of their individual, let's say, basis and such as also independence, that all of us are cooperating closely also with the aim of giving one position of the OSCE under one OSCE flag. I think this is important, and I was very thankful for this cooperation because in Crimea it was extremely useful to have the experience of the High Commissioner on the ground for having our contacts. This was on last Wednesday. We had during the whole day many meetings. We thought that on Thursday we would continue this. The contacts, the meetings were not confirmed, and the security situation affecting also the representative of the UN, Robert Seri, induced us to decide to leave Crimea on Thursday morning. We had a series of contacts with, on the one side, the Council General of the Russian Federation, as well as the Deputy Speaker of the Crimean Parliament, and on the other side, with regard to different positions, the representative of the Kiev government in Crimea. Actually, he was not able to work in his premises, had to receive us outside, as well as Tatar leaders and some representatives of NGO and a colonel of one of the law enforcement institutions. What we witnessed was the fact of a shift of power in state institutions in Crimea from, let's say, to the newly established local authorities in Simferopol by active intervention of unidentified military personnel. We are all informed that on 27th of February, these forces seized the Parliament building as well as the government building. Then in Parliament, under the presence of these forces, the decision was taken to dismiss the old Prime Minister, to nominate a new Prime Minister, and to decide on a referendum to be held next Sunday. At the same time, law enforcement structures of the constitutional institutions of Ukraine in Crimea are not only hindered to execute their functions, most of them have been occupied, and then these people have been declared that the situation has changed, and the members of these institutions were asked to recognize the new authorities by declaring loyalty to them, or they have been given the possibility to leave Crimea. We see the establishment of self-defense units and also a induced shift of administration, schools and local administrations for ensuring the, let's say, loyalty to the new authorities. In fact, overall, we witnessed this shift of power, so de facto, the new established authorities in Simferopol have control over the state institutions. The positions we heard from the General Council of the Russian Federation as well as from the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament in Simferopol was that first, the justification lies in the threats against the Russian-speaking population, threats against the Black Sea Fleet, as well as the fact that the Parliament in Kiev is about to adopt laws restricting the autonomy of the Crimea. As an example, the decision of Parliament to abolish the law on languages. This decision was taken, however, the law of the abolition was not signed. It is not put in, let's say, in force. And these justifications were the reasons for the described activities which are presented by these representatives as being fully in legality. I just would like to refer, when it comes to the decision of the referendum, to the public statement of the Chairman-in-Office of the day before yesterday, saying, in its current form, the referendum regarding Crimea scheduled for March 16 is a contradiction with the Ukrainian constitution and must be considered illegal. I think that is, when it comes to the OSCE, in the words of the Chairman-in-Office, the position to this referendum. I said in a press conference after my visit that I consider it as almost a miracle that bloodshed in the whole process could be avoided. And I see the reason in a very strong restraint decided by the government in Kiev with a non-shooting strategy, a clear order to all law enforcement institutions in Crimea, so that no violence could outbreak by a reaction to obvious provocations, above all from the side of these unidentified military personnel. A specific attention should be drawn to the Crim Tatars, as the Torch will come back to this community, which I think has a crucial role in the current situation of Crimea. As for myself, tomorrow I will go to Strasbourg. I will meet Jagland to discuss how to enhance the coordination and cooperation between the Council of Europe and the OSCE, because I'm convinced we have to make sure that the two institutions working on very similar areas in the context of the Ukrainian crisis this cooperation has to be enhanced, so that possibly we could head to a strategic partnership when it comes to the approach in Ukraine. Next week, I will travel, also accompanied by a representative of the High Commissioner on National Minorities. I will travel to the east of Ukraine on Monday to Kiev and discussions with the government there, and then the same day to the east, staying there until Thursday noon, flying back to Kiev, discussions with the government, Thursday evening back to Vienna. On Friday, I will be here for the context and information of all of you who don't take the advantage of a day off. I hope you don't. In the, I don't know, the form of context, I would like to report on the visit in eastern Ukraine. I consider the situation in eastern Ukraine very important to be observed in view of further development, although now all the attention is to the Crimea. Thank you very much.